everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Raad Life, where reinvention meets real life. And this time, real life is happening in Harare, Zimbabwe, not in the studios of Orange County. So real life happens everywhere, right? I'm Raad, and today we're having a conversation with Shepherd Mafundikwa, who is the founder of. You tell what the name is.
Mosi Oa Tunya Cigars.
Which means what?
Mosi Oa Tunya is the smoke that thunders.
And we'll get to what that connects to with, because it relates to something I was doing last week. Right? It's basically the Zimbabwean premium cigar house that's inspired by that name, Smoke That Thunders. And we want to dig into the original story, the craft, the culture behind the leaf. I didn't know that tobacco was such a big thing in Zimbabwe until I got here, and I accidentally came across the cigars. And we are now enjoying cigars in the backyard of the factory where the cigars are made. So literally, these cigars were made in the rollers. When would these have been made?
That would be like maybe 3 months.
3 months ago.
3 months ago,
Okay.
yeah.
So I want to talk about the culture. I want to talk about the tobacco. I want to basically talk about, how do you build a world-class product here from Harare in Zimbabwe, and what is the mindset that's needed to sustain such an entrepreneurial effort, with especially the headwinds, the issues, the climate here, the resources, and what it takes to take a bold vision like this, especially when people find out what you were doing before this, and how your relationship with cigars was before this, or I should say wasn't before this, right? And how do you do that? How do you hold on to it? How do you engage people? So welcome to the show, Shepherd.
Thank you, Rod.
I appreciate you being on here and taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I actually made a point of flying from Victoria Falls, where I was based out of, for the 2 safaris I was doing in Africa, the last 10 days or 2 weeks. And I came all the way to the capital city of Harare to do just this, because I really was intrigued. And sometimes when your exploration leads you to something like this, you got to go to the source and find out more about it. So thank you for doing that. And who do we have with us?
Okay, we've got Lovemore.
Lovemore.
Yes, that's his name, Lovemore.
He goes by Mo. He likes Mo for short.
Right.
Lovemore is his name, yeah. And we'll talk about the names things in a minute, because everyone sitting at this table actually has a name that has a different definition. Okay, go ahead. So Lovemore, nice to have you here.
Nice to meet you too, right?
Likewise, and thank you for walking me through the factory and the stages of the process earlier.
More than welcome.
What is your role here?
Well, I'm sort of the production guy.
You're the production guy.
Yes.
And how long have you been with the company, from the beginning?
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shepherd, how long has it been since you set this up?
We are now in our 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
We started this project at the onset of COVID 2020.
Great time.
So great timing it was, yeah. Kind of like made us wonder what did we
why you guys so
Yeah, but it's been a good ride. I mean, we are going into a 5th year now, and it hasn't been a smooth road, because there was no template to follow when we started this project.
Are you the only cigar maker?
We are the only cigar maker
in
Zimbabwe, yeah. So there was no template to follow.
Okay.
I mean, everything that we did was like we had to learn and sometimes fail and then get up again, and but
but any entrepreneur that has ever done anything knows that is part of the process.
It is part of the process. Yeah, it is part.
Or at least they find out that it is part of the process.
And I guess having someone like you here tells us that we're probably doing something right.
I think definitely you're doing something right. Mm-hmm. I think the effort behind this is really intriguing, because again, it was sort of one of those unanticipated, unexpected discoveries.
Right.
Like people come to the continent of Africa to discover, animals, the big five, whatever it is, before they came for minerals, whatever. Yeah, I came to Africa and I discovered cigars. right? That I didn't anticipate to find in Zimbabwe, out of all places.
Right.
And just to give a shout out to Blessing, who basically handled a lot of the logistics through Love for Africa for the safaris. The minute I showed up with a box of cigars that I picked up from a gift shop one time at a restaurant we were at, and I said, "Oh, by the way, I found these cigars." He goes, "Oh, okay," and he dials Shepard on WhatsApp on the phone, and I'm talking to the person within minutes of actually picking up his cigars. So
yeah, good looking out, Blessing.
Yeah, good looking out, Blessing. Well, that is Blessing. That is Blessing, right? I want to take back people a little bit to give them background, right? And then we will talk about like what sparked this, right? So tell people a little bit about your journey, like, because I think some people, and Blessing touched on it a little bit when I interviewed him, how he was working in one capacity. I think he started working at the age of 17 in sort of the tourism and the guiding and the safaris. And then things happened that caused him to look outside the country. So what's your journey been? Like, what's your professional path been so far before the cigars?
Yeah, before the cigars, I must say that I was thrown into the deep end of the entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
I was working for a corporate company here in Zimbabwe. And when they were doing their realignment of the businesses, I ended up buying out one of the companies which was involved in electronics.
Okay.
And that's how we met with Love More. We used to work for the same corporate.
What was it? What kind of electronics was it?
It was everything, home appliances, office equipment, telecoms.
Okay.
The Panasonic range.
Okay.
That's what I was doing. So I did that for like 5 years, and sort of like got the baptism of fire into entrepreneurship and being a business owner.
Yeah.
So 2005, the economy here started, going the other way. And that's when I decided, like most, young families and young people, I decided it was time for me to go and seek my fortunes elsewhere. So decided on the US because that's where I'd been to school. Decided maybe let me take the family there.
You said you went to New York, I think, right?
Yeah, Medgar Evers College in New York.
Yeah, very good school.
So basically packed suitcases and with the two little boys.
How old were your kids?
Kids were 7 and 8.
Okay.
When we left.
So they were very aware too.
Yeah, they were aware that things are changing here. I mean, it's gonna be a new ball game altogether.
Yeah.
So getting to Atlanta, it was starting all over again. We had to start building homes and career wise. And I joined Delta Airlines. And after 11 years with Delta, I got weary of the corporate life. I got weary of 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to come back to Zimbabwe, which is, home, and start something. But what was I going to do? That was the issue.
So the spark really was not necessarily cigar related.
No, it wasn't cigar related.
It was just business related.
It was business related. Okay. Yeah.
You were looking for an opportunity, just like when you left from here to go to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to just take a moment to explain to some people that maybe don't understand this, because the United States is such a big country. When you are faced with a situation like that in the United States, you might move to another state.
Right.
But you're still within the same country.
Right.
When my father started, he was a civil engineer. Okay. He went from graduating to working in Iraq because that's where the family was based out of. And then opportunities came similarly.
Right.
Because in some cases, the industries or the country or the economy may be too tied up or too close circles, and it's harder. And so the opportunities present, you're having a family, you're raising a family, you need to look for other opportunities.
Right.
We ended up in Abu Dhabi when there was nothing in Abu Dhabi, and we lived on a construction camp in what basically I refer to as almost like a colonial British camp, because there was really no infrastructure in Abu Dhabi. And then from there, another opportunity came to him to move to Kuwait because of the same thing. So it's not uncommon for people that are not in the United States necessarily to think about moving to another country to seek better opportunities for them and for their families. So you did it going to the States, and then in the States you got kind of tired with the corporate after 11 years.
Right.
And you and I talked yesterday about how it's interesting that maybe there's this unspoken number of 10 years.
Right.
Where if you have an entrepreneurial bug, 10 years of doing corporate, even if it's something like Delta, which is a really good company with a big structure, they treat their employees well, although they were going through their own stuff then, and they had to reinvent. At one point, Delta was in crisis. That 10 years seems to be like an unspoken knee-jerk magic number for people to reevaluate and maybe say, okay, I need to try my own thing to see if it's going to work, to get it out of my system, the bug.
Yeah.
So is that kind of where you were at?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. Like I said, before I left, I was pretty much running my own business, so pretty much working for myself. But you then go back and
Work for a corporate
and corporate rules, and it was fun. Delta made me see the world.
Yeah.
And just to go back to your story, you told me about your father. Moving you guys to another country looking for opportunities. That same story runs in my family as well.
Tell me more.
My grandfather, my father's father, left my grandmother when she was pregnant with my father to go to South Africa.
Okay.
Then there were no trains, there were no buses. People would actually walk
To South Africa.
to go to South Africa and work in the mines or work.
For people that are not aware, Zimbabwe is north,
Right.
and so you border South Africa.
Yes.
So where did your grandfather go in South Africa?
Well, the story has never been told and we'll never get to know.
Yeah.
We don't know whether my grandfather ever made it to South Africa.
Yeah.
Or if he died on his way, because then there were wild animals that would, attack and, kill people on their way.
Well, there are areas. I remember when I was driving, I was being, taken around in Victoria Falls, that there are areas where after 6 o'clock you cannot walk.
Yes.
Because you're basically bordered on the natural... The game park.
Yes.
And so wild animals basically across the street. So you could be basically food for a lion attacked by baboons,
exactly.
like whatever,
exactly.
Like a rhino, a hippopotamus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you don't know if your grandfather made it or not.
So grandfather never came back.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we never got to know whether he made it there and then maybe probably died working in the mines or something happened along the way.
Okay.
We don't know. But history has got a tendency of repeating itself. And so I think the travel bug runs in the Mafundikwa family because most of my family is actually outside or once was, outside.
Well, you said your sister was in Atlanta. That's why.
Yes, exactly.
Chose Atlanta.
Exactly, yeah.
So here you are, you're in Atlanta. You have a recently good job, but you're like done with the corporate mindset and the restrictions.
Right.
And so you say, I want to do my own thing.
Yes.
And then, so you could have easily done your own thing in the United States.
Precisely, yeah.
So why did you decide to come back?
Well, familiarity for one. I'm familiar with this territory, and I was also looking out for opportunities.
Okay.
And I said, okay, fine. So, there's lots of mining going on here. There's a lot of agriculture. And then tobacco kind of came up because Zimbabwe is ranked number 1 on the continent in terms of the quality of tobacco that's grown and the quantity as well.
I had no idea.
Right. So Zimbabwe is number 1. And then...
and you were telling me that the history of tobacco in Zimbabwe is that forever and ever and ever, the tobacco was being used basically by a lot of cigarette companies, right? There's a lot of production happening that then went into making cigarettes.
Right.
So for those who are in the know, they know.
Right. Yes.
Maybe not common knowledge.
Yes, yeah. So when I looked at tobacco, something just said, well, wait a minute, what about cigars? And like I told you yesterday, I had never touched a cigar. I had never smoked a cigar in my life. I didn't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
But something just said, look, there is an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Cigars, the world of cigars. I mean, there's so much huge demand and interest in cigars.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, here goes. Gonna make cigars.
Okay. So how does a person who never smoked a cigar, never smoked a cigarette, but is recognizing that, as they say, the riches are in the niches,
Right.
right? That there's an opportunity here. And the opportunity maybe you recognize because you're seeing the consumption of it outside.
Right.
It's not necessarily limited to Zimbabwe market, right? Or Africa market, where
Right.
it could be bigger.
Yes.
How does a person then go from no knowledge base, no familiarity with the product, to then basically committing themselves to doing this as a professional pursuit?
Well, they say that travel opens up your mind and travel opens up your eyes as well.
Okay.
I took off to Cuba just to go and have a feel and see how. And of course, it was all mind blowing. I mean, I was like, oh gosh, I mean, is this something that we can do?
Yeah.
But after the trip to Cuba, I was more convinced that this is something that could be done here. And now the driving force, there was clarity now, because it started off as an idea, but now there was clarity. I wanted to.
What did you encounter in Cuba that made it seem like it would be possible to do in Zimbabwe?
Every house that I went to had a little
Cigar making thing?
cigar making factory at the back, and mostly women rolling cigars. And then
So that's not a myth. That is actually true. The women in Cuba are rolling cigars.
they're rolling cigars, but I'm not going to say where.
No. We won't talk about how they're rolling them. It's a family show. We're not going to do that. Okay. Yeah, but
Right.
so you saw it being made not like at a large manufacturing scale. You saw it being made in such a capacity and in such
Right.
a way that made it possible to see how you could do this as like a cottage industry almost.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I can just add that yes, I did visit some big cigar factories in the process, but I left Cuba convinced that this is something that can be done in Zimbabwe,
Okay.
and obviously the skills transfer, that became an issue as well, because Spanish and English.
Yeah.
Some of the brilliant cigar makers that I met spoke no word of English, and I spoke no word of Spanish.
So how did you communicate?
Well, I had a gentleman who was kind of like my guide.
Yeah.
And he spoke a little bit of English, and he took me to places, and we eventually ended up bumping into a lady who spoke some English, because she had been out of Cuba and done some work, outside.
Okay.
And she spoke English. And when I told her what I was trying to do, first thing she told me was that I was crazy. But she said, you know what? Crazy in a good way. Let's go to Zimbabwe and make cigars.
Okay.
So, we had to go through the whole process of putting together papers and everything for her to come here. And, the red tape and the bureaucracy was sometimes so frustrating, and we didn't think we'd pull it off. But eventually she made it here.
Did you find that the people in Cuba, when you were asking them and you were inquiring, that they were very open about telling you how, or was there resistance?
No, there wasn't that much resistance. I mean, everyone was kind of like...
Why are you asking?
No, I didn't bump into that a lot. Because, I put my cards on the table and said, look...
Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is why I'm asking.
This is why I'm asking. This is what we want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So eventually the lady got here, and we had to start building the factory from scratch. And I would go and get stuff fabricated and get stuff made. And she said, nah, this is not how I want it.
Okay.
So it was frustrating. Spend time with artisans, designing the desks and the presses and everything, until we got everything together. And the factory was ready to start running.
So have you been operating out of this location for the last 5 years?
Yes. This was the first location, and we're still here.
But for me, not having visited Cuba, but having seen pictures
Right.
of some of the more traditional setups.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked into your factory, it was recognizable.
It's a replica, yes.
The tables, the cutting,
Mm.
the half moon cutters,
Cutters, yeah.
to trim off the cigars.
Right.
The presses.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much for what I would envision as a traditional process of making cigars.
Right.
So you were able to replicate that here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you still working with this lady or?
Oh no. Her husband ended up joining her here.
Yeah.
So we worked briefly together, but they had issues back home and they had to go back to Cuba. So we had recruited, the ladies who were going to work in the factory.
Yeah.
Training had just started, and then they had to go back. So I had a factory, I had the staff, but no trainer.
Okay.
So yeah, that was hard. But closed down the factory. Told the ladies, "We'll call you when we are ready."
Okay.
I flew back to Atlanta.
Okay.
Broken because now I didn't know what to do. I mean, I couldn't train them because I didn't know anything about making cigars. And then having a conversation with a friend, he said, "Listen, why don't you try the Dominican Republic?"
Okay.
So my son and I, we headed out to the Dominican Republic. Again, same challenge, no Spanish. But, with Google Translate,
Wow.
we managed to, talk to people, and we sent from pillar to post. On the third day, I said, "Listen, this is not working. I think maybe let's just give up and go back." But we were then connected to another small factory in Tamboril. And when we're there, the guy spoke English. I said, "Perfect." He said, "So what do you want?" I said, "I need someone to come with me to Zimbabwe to go and train people on how to make cigars." I said, "Okay, sit here. I've got somebody. I'm calling someone now. He's coming." 1 hour, 2 hours, the guy is not coming. But of course, this was a nice joint. I mean, they gave us rum. We're drinking rum while we waited for this guy.
It helped with the time.
It helped with the time because I was really getting impatient. So the guy eventually shows up.
Yeah.
He's cigar maestro, Elias Lopez. And he says, "So what do you want?" I told him. He said, "Okay, that's fine. Let's go." And I said,
That's amazing.
I said, "Okay, just like that?" He says, "Yeah, that's fine. But now I don't have a passport. My passport is expired. You got money to go and get a new passport?" I said, "Yeah, I have money." So this guy, he's on his little scooter, his little bike.
Yeah. That's why it took him 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, and he says, "Jump on, let's go." And I'm a big guy.
You're a big guy on a small
I'm
scooter.
thinking on a small scooter
With Elias Lopez driving.
with Elias Lopez driving crazy, weaving in and out of
Do you have
traffic.
pictures of this?
I can show you some pictures.
Okay, yes, please.
And so we started working on the paperwork.
Yeah.
And went to Santo Domingo to the Ministries of Agriculture because he had to get his qualifications and everything. And boom, everything is done. I go back to Atlanta and Elias says to me, "Well, send me the money for the ticket."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, gosh, I mean,
What is going on here?
what is going on? So Western Union sent him the money and he sends me the receipt. He says, "I've got the ticket and I'm leaving on this day. I'm arriving at this date." So I said,
Sometimes you have to trust.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to trust.
A leap of faith.
A leap of faith.
Mm. So,
Like the leap of the bridge.
yes,
I'm not saying anything else. You'll have to find out from another article.
right. So headed back. I came back first to prepare for his arrival. Called the girls and I said, "Guess what? We are opening up again, but it's now during COVID.
Yeah.
So there are restrictions. Companies can't work, and you can't do this. You can't be out at a certain time. There are curfews." But we got along, and eventually, when Elias met up with the girls, things just started moving, and they were learning fast.
Let me ask you this,
Mhm.
Shepard, because I feel sometimes that COVID is maligned. that we only look at the negative part of what happened during COVID, but it also provided time
Time, yes.
and it provided space.
Yes.
So you could actually move a little slower.
Yes.
You were forced to move a little slower. But then in the course of doing that, you had time to think, you had time to process, you had time to do things a little bit with less pressure.
True.
So did that help you also?
It did, because this was the time that we're doing our training and trying to get to grips with the business. I mean, Zimbabwe grows lots of, tobacco, but it's not all the tobacco that's grown here which was suitable for
cigars. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What happened after? How did you narrow that down?
So initially, I couldn't find the tobacco here.
Yeah.
So I had to head out to Malawi.
Okay.
Malawi.
How far is Malawi for people that don't know?
Malawi flight time is what, like maybe 2 hours or so?
Yeah, it's about 1,200 k's from here. So yeah.
1,200 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to fly to another location.
Fly to another location.
Okay.
And get there and say, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. So I met a guy who was the former head of Malawi Tobacco, and he just took me by hand and said, I'm going to go with you. Introduced me to the people who met it and said, you are going to help this guy.
Now, were they already growing tobacco that would be...
They were growing
the
perfect tobacco, yeah.
But they were not using it for cigars?
No, they were not using it for cigars. It was all being, exported.
So for those who don't know, what's the difference? Like, what makes it tobacco that's good for cigars versus tobacco that's...
Okay, so Virginia tobacco is good for cigarettes, and that's fire cured.
Yeah,
but
it's fire cured.
Fire cured, yeah. So the tobacco that we use, which is barley, is air cured, and it has now to go through when it's dry, it has to go through a fermentation process.
So is it the fact that most people, it's not time efficient?
Yes.
So they want to make the fire cured because it's
exactly
faster to take it to production.
It's faster to take it to to production.
Air cure the leaves.
Air cure, and then you have to ferment them. And fermentation can take anything from 6 months to a year, or even longer.
Yeah.
In fact, the longer the better.
Yeah.
Right. So these were all learning experiences.
What happens with when you, is it like wine where you ferment the longer yes.
The
longer it stays in the barrel for like bourbon or whiskey.
Right.
The better the
quality. Yeah. The better the quality.
Right. Okay.
So I also then met up with the local tobacco research board, which is a very esteemed body recognized internationally for the expertise and the skills in tobacco growth. Tobacco scientists based there.
Yeah.
And they liked the project and they said, listen, we're going to work with you.
Okay.
So in the background on the banner there, that's actually their farm, their research farm. And they started growing tobacco for us
So not only are you now delayed because you're ready and you lose the lady who has the knowledge.
Yes.
You have to go to another country
to go
have by accident find somebody that is now going to come train.
Right.
But now that you get back, you realize that the tobacco you need is now going to need 6 months to a year of fermentation after it is grown.
Yes.
And how long does it take to grow tobacco leaves to where they can be used before they can be harvested?
Okay, like now is like planting season.
We're in August, yeah.
Yeah, we're in August, yeah. So it's planting season. They're preparing to plant now.
Yeah, for harvest when?
For harvest April, May
of next year.
So working with the Tobacco Research Board, they had stock that they had fermented during their experimenting. Yeah. So we ended up having stock to use.
Okay. That's very interesting. Okay, so and we talked about the name because of the affiliation with the Smoke That Thunders.
Right.
And you're in Harare.
Yes.
But the Smoke That Thunders is really the name, that local name for Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls, correct.
And the reason why it's called that, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not local, but I would guess that it's because when the water hits, it forms a mist that looks almost like smoke.
Yes, yeah.
Right above the falls.
Right.
And the sound of the water is the thunder.
Yes, yes.
So the smoke that thunder.
That thunders, yes.
Okay. So why? So you chose the name, even though it's not local to where your factory is, because of what? Like a connection with the symbolism of the falls and
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the connection with Victoria Falls, because I mean, Victoria Falls is globally it's
Is it a
globally
UNESCO site?
It is a UNESCO,
UNESCO
site.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, so that's really very interesting. Very interesting how you basically pulled this together. You were almost like what they say is you were building the plane. You were building the plane as you were trying to fly it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you were learning how to fly.
I was learning how to fly. Yes.
As you're building the plane and learning how to
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges now that all these pieces were in place? What were some of the challenges you look back at that were like memorable for you?
Well, I mean,
were there times when you felt, even now that I have all the pieces together, that I don't know if this is really what I want to do? Did you ever have any doubts of that nature, and how did you navigate those?
Well, look, I mean, doubts always come up, but
entrepreneurship. Right?
Yeah, entrepreneurship journey. Yeah, but I think what really kept us going was the acceptance of the project and the interest that we were starting to have from different kinds of sources. I mean, like the diplomatic community here, people got interested in the fact that cigars were actually being made in Zimbabwe. And also, we started getting feedback on the flavor of the cigar.
Yeah.
Much related to the quality of the tobacco that's grown here.
Yeah.
So the fact that you'll get someone coming to buy cigars today, and tomorrow they're calling you, listen, I need to order some more cigars.
That's right.
That you wake up in the morning and you think, oh yeah, maybe we are on the right track here.
Something is here.
Something is here, yeah. Something is here. And then obviously it started opening up, opportunities, not only locally, but, beyond the borders as well, and beyond the continent as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, things started really shaping up, and we felt, yeah.
So it kept giving you encouragement to stay the course.
Mm-hmm. There are challenges, like the wrapper that we use is important.
Yeah.
And while experiments are still ongoing to grow the wrapper locally, we are not yet there with the quality of wrapper that's produced here. So we have to go outside to go and get our wrapper. Rules, policies, sometimes you need permits. The permits don't come out the way you think they should. It just kind of like sometimes derails the operation. And then the economics as well. I mean, in the country, taxes are pretty high on tobacco products.
Yeah.
So for a startup with no injection of funding from outside, trying to do it from your pocket, sometimes it became very, very tough. It became difficult.
You're describing the entrepreneurial journey, man.
Yes.
It's not for everybody.
Uh-huh.
That is for sure.
So those sleepless nights when you're thinking, oh, it's the end of the month, I need to pay salaries, I need to pay my rent, and I need to pay taxes. Sometimes it's just like am I going to do this or not?
So what do you think makes us these entrepreneurs that basically, when we are faced with a challenge like that, we don't know how to say no?
Yes.
I mean, it's a different breed when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you're an entrepreneur that is maybe in a developing country or in a niche that is not really explored or saturated.
Yes.
You are basically, it's a different breed. I think you have to have it in your DNA, kind of. If you don't say no, when that happens, it almost challenges you even more.
Right.
And there's no guarantee. There's no safety net. You're basically walking a tightrope without a safety net sometimes.
Exactly.
right? And there's the sleepless nights, the anxiety, all of that stuff. But we still keep going.
So yeah, you coming from a situation whereby you're guaranteed of an income. You know that your medical insurance is covered. You know this is all covered. To a situation whereby you are now at zero. You know, it's like okay. My wife was working.
Yeah. So you had a little bit of a cushion.
I had a little bit of a cushion, yes, but still, you know, you feel like wow. But you keep pushing. You're right.
So obviously, now that you are basically past that, not necessarily startup, because I think you're always in a startup mode
Yes.
as an entrepreneur, even if you're scaling,
Exactly.
then you're also still like scaling in a startup.
Right.
Right. What developed? Like you have probably ended up with sort of certain standards that you wanted to adhere to, right?
Mm-hmm.
That were not really driven by industry standards because there's no cigar industry. in
Right.
Zimbabwe.
Right.
So they were driven by your own personal standards, maybe personal values, even.
Right.
And then also, I want to talk about that, and I want you to tie it into how that translates to like team and culture
Mm-hmm.
in how you set up your business.
Right.
But then also, I want you to pivot a little bit to the flavor
Mm-hmm.
and the blend and sort of
Right.
the blend philosophy, because a
Right.
lot of people don't understand, I think, when it comes to cigars or comes to certain batch of alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to basically also claim a territory, claim a thing, right? I remember when I first talked to you and I told you, and I had not even opened or smoked the cigars
Right.
yet, and I said, well, so what would you equate your cigars to?
Mm-hmm.
And you made a reference to something that is very well known.
Right.
You told me what?
Monte Cristo.
Tastes like a Monte Cristo.
Right.
Kind of.
Mm.
So let's talk about that. Let's start with the standards and the culture and the way that you set up your team,
Right.
And then because I think it's very important,
Mm.
especially as a startup.
Right.
If you all of a sudden have retention issues, you have people that you have trained, especially when you needed to bring expertise from overseas to
Right.
train them.
Right.
So let's talk about that. How did you go
Yeah.
about that?
So yeah, you spoke of standards.
Yeah.
And of course, we are sort of like in a unique position by virtue of us being the only cigar maker in Zimbabwe. So locally, we don't really have competition as such. But while that's a good thing, there's also the scary aspect of now having to compete with people that have been making cigars for the past 200 years, 100 years. International, yeah. So you are in the big league. Well, I mean, you're coming from the small league, and all of a sudden you're thrust into the big league.
I don't think, unless you are going to limit yourself to the local market,
Right.
which you may have economic pressures to not do that.
Uh-huh.
Even if you go to South Africa, even if you go to other countries, they have access to the other stuff.
Right.
So you planting a flag in the cigar business,
Yes.
even though you're in Zimbabwe, you are really in competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So initially starting out, people were like, "Oh, Zimbabwe cigars," but as we
Even though Zimbabwe tobacco has been in cigarettes
exactly
for centuries.
Exactly. Yeah. But the interest that the product has sort of like garnered on the international market, it's very interesting. 2 years ago, I attended Itatabak, which is like the biggest cigar fair in Dortmund in Germany.
Yeah.
And the people that I shared our cigars with were like, wow, this is different. So that unique Zimbabwe flavor, I think in terms of standards, drives us.
Have you identified what that wow, this is different is for people? Like if somebody said, wow, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
The next question for me would be, well, how is it different? So have you identified what some of those things are?
The answer that I've got is the flavor. It's the flavor of the cigar. Also the craftsmanship that has gone into it. While we are like little 5-year-olds, but I think our staff has kind of like perfected
Well, and you're using traditional methods,
traditional methods,
which
exactly.
again is a big deal. Like
Right.
I keep reminding people that You can get, like in my business, the interior design business,
Uh-huh.
you can get a light
Right.
that is made that looks like it's a Moroccan light,
Uh-huh.
but it's not necessarily, it's made by a machine and you can buy it. You can
Uh-huh.
order it,
Yeah.
but it's not the same as buying something that is made by hand.
Right. Handmade, yes.
There's a layer of luxury, there's a layer of value, I think, that is, it's like custom tailoring
Right.
versus off the shelf.
Yes.
So, okay, that's interesting. I think that's definitely a selling point.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel that is conveyed through your? I mean, maybe this is a question for Lovemo.
Uh-huh.
Is do you feel that that's a bit that's conveyed through the team, through the internal culture of the company, that people understand that what they're working on is something that's almost like
Right.
a pride of doing it this way?
Certainly, I think it is conveyed through the team. From the get-go, we made it very clear to the team that we don't have any competition locally, but we are competing with the Cubans, with the Nicaraguans, with all the people that have been making cigars for centuries.
Yeah.
So we need to get our game right. And also the training that, the team got is such that they are at par with anybody who is making hand-rolled cigars anywhere in the world.
That's very impressive. I mean, that's pretty skilled labor.
Right. And I may just add that some of these people, some of the ladies that we employ in the factory,
Yeah.
some had never worked a day in their life. They never received a paycheck, and let alone know anything about cigars. At least I had read about cigars. I had traveled and I had seen, but the most they knew about cigars, for those who had watched movies, was like, we know about the big cigarettes. And I always say, no, that's taboo. These are not cigarettes. These are cigars. So, yeah, it's amazing that, like Lovemore has said, these ladies can walk into any cigar making factory and sit down and start making cigars.
That's very, very amazing. And I think as you scale, you're going to be introducing that to more people. So you are teaching a very specialized skill,
yes,
where
absolutely.
any one of them technically now has a skill that's transferable.
Right.
It's,
Wow.
it's a good thing that we don't have any competition at the moment.
Because you would
Otherwise,
lose some people,
yeah,
maybe,
certainly.
right, on a yeah. And again, kind of referencing back to blessing, one of the things that we talked about in the interview is how that has the impact. Like you're saying, some of these ladies did not even work
Right.
before, they never got a paycheck, right?
Mm.
Let's talk about how important that impact is, especially in the local market, like in Zim. What is the value addition that you are doing? Because there's a social enterprise component to this.
Right. Yeah. So from a social perspective, I think women empowerment is something that's really big in Africa. Women have always been marginalized, but now we have given them an opportunity to run their households, take care of their kids, send their kids to school, and improve their livelihoods. So ultimately, the goal is that when we actually get where we want to get, we want to make sure that we improve lives, not just by offering employment, but also qualitatively improving the lives of the team members who are on our team.
Well, and the people that are related to them. It's not
Yes,
just, let's say,
exactly.
the 10 people that are working on the tables. Those are not just the 10 people that you're positively impacting. You're impacting their families. You're impacting down the road.
Yeah.
Trickle-down effect.
Yes.
Trickle-down effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. I mean, you're not just building a business, you're also securing lives.
Right. And then also from an economic perspective, most of the tobacco that's grown is exported in its raw form, but we are value adding. There's value addition that's taking place here. Instead of just sending the tobacco out,
Right.
we are actually creating some value.
Right, which is the way it used to be, that a lot of tobacco that was grown was being exported for use,
Right.
or shredded in order to be used for cigarettes, but the impact was elsewhere. Here
Exactly.
you're actually impacting locally.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that, again, with the entrepreneurship challenges, because here you are 5 years in the process. You have everything lined up. This is a natural product,
Right.
and you were telling me that right now, currently, you're working on developing the wrapper locally, but you don't have that yet,
Right.
right? And you have been importing the wrapper,
Right.
and all of a sudden now there's another issue that has come up with the wrapper.
Right.
And explain that to people. What's the current issue with the wrappers?
Okay, so it looks like from the local authorities, the tobacco industry here is so huge, and it means a lot to the country in terms of
The economy.
the economy. So they try to protect the local industry so much from diseases that come from other countries. And the country that we've been buying our wrapper from has been flagged as a country which has got a disease called blue mold.
Okay.
So anything coming out of that country is kind of like flagged.
You can't bring it in.
So we can't bring it in. So Dominican Republic, yeah, that's where we've been getting our wrapper from. But all of a sudden now we find ourselves in a situation whereby we can't bring wrapper from the Dominican Republic.
You have to bring it from another source.
Now we have to bring it from another source.
Yeah.
So that becomes a challenge. And again, we are here. So other than jumping on a plane and going to Nicaragua, Ecuador, or Brazil, sometimes it's hard, that communication, to try and reach out to suppliers. It's not easy, and the language differences as well.
Well, and the fact that you've already established a blend flavor based on what you were doing,
Right.
and now you're going to get the wrapper from another source.
From another source, yeah.
And you have to be careful that that you're maintaining
dilute or
dilute the flavor.
or distort the flavors. Yeah.
Interesting. So does that mean that you have a window that you have to, like, there's also the pressure on getting another source that works, because as much stock that you may have,
Yeah.
at some point you're going to run
Right.
out.
We need to be producing all the time. So we can't afford to have a downtime because of the crisis with the material.
I'll be interested to see how you manage that, because
Okay.
that is I mean, that's real.
It is, yeah.
It's very real.
It is, yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit off camera, but like for people that talk about capacity, for example, right? I mean, it's still very much like a small batch luxury.
It is, yeah.
Niche, right? Production.
It is, yeah.
So what is your capacity right now, roughly, at full capacity in terms of production for cigars?
Well, I would say, everything being equal, 1,500 cigars a day. That's what
And you're producing every day,
we are producing.
depending
every
obviously
day.
on demand. But
On manpower availability, but we have a plan to ramp up the production as and when the demand increases,
right.
because you don't want to be caught out. You send a consignment out and they come back and they say, okay, fine, we want to double what you supplied last time, and then you turn around and say, no, but you'll have to wait. We don't have the stock. We need to have the stock all the time.
Interesting. And I think you told me also that you are planning right now. You're buying your filler as well as your wrapper, but you're buying your filler from farmers. So you're not necessarily growing. You're growing your stock through other people's. And you have plans to actually have your own plantation.
Exactly. Yeah, long term, that's what we want to do. We want to have everything, control the supply chain.
The whole vertical integration of
Vertical integration, yes.
Interesting. Okay. You have been very quiet, Lavmo.
Well, he's been doing most of it.
He's been doing most of the talking. You've been doing most of the smoking.
He's the entrepreneur. So
No, but I want to hear from your side, because you've been also sort of on the floor. You've been in the production side of it, right?
yes, I have.
So what do you have to share, reflecting back on You were here since the beginning.
Yeah, since almost the beginning. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Just like him, I didn't know anything about cigar. Well, I knew there are things called cigars. I used to be a cigarette smoker myself, but at some point I quit. And when I got here and we started, working, producing cigars, I felt that I think you cannot sell something that you don't consume yourself.
Right.
So I started, smoking cigars. So I've been smoking cigars now for the past 3 years or so, and it's been an experience. We've got a wonderful team. As has been mentioned before, it's an all women team, and we take very great pride in that. And most of the challenges have been outlined, but we always find solutions to the challenges. So yeah,
It keeps you waking up in the morning and
every day,
plugging away.
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
So, what are you guys excited about going forward? I mean, obviously, there's a challenge with the blue mold. That's
Right.
fine. Let's set that aside. What are you guys excited about after 5 years? Like, what's the future look like for you guys?
Well, look, I think we are really looking forward to getting the product out there. We are looking forward to getting Mosi Oa Tunya Cigars into the global market. And so far, the acceptance has been great. It takes time to build, put together the logistics and also to put structures to try and get the product out there. But we have had phenomenal feedback, and I think the future can only be bright. And I think in time, the smoke is going to be thundering in different parts of the world.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put this. And then I have a
I-
question.
Sorry,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
would just
Yeah.
add that from a business plan point of view,
Yeah.
we sort of anticipated that 90% of our production is for export, and we would only be selling locally about 10%.
And what is it now?
Simply because there is no real smoking culture, cigar smoking culture in Zimbabwe.
Interesting.
And when we started, because we started during COVID, we started producing during COVID, and we could not export because of logistics. We started trying to sort of grow that culture locally, and we've had phenomenal success. I think at some point we were really surviving on local sales alone. But as he says, the plan is always to try and grow exports.
And people are smoking, like in the United States, you can't smoke in public areas. You can't smoke. You have to be 10 feet away.
Right,
from the building,
right.
or whatever, 30 feet away from the building. What is the smoking culture like here?
I think it's still very flexible. It's still very flexible, and we are doing lots of working clubs where the young people want to be seen, and it's like a status thing.
It is a status thing. Yeah.
Yeah, smoking cigars.
Yeah.
So where before it was only cigars were only available to those who traveled to bring them in, but now because of the local availability,
Yeah.
and it's cutting across gender lines as well. It's not just men who are smoking cigars.
That is happening internationally.
Right, right.
Yeah. I'm actually very surprised often when a lady says, "Oh, I want to try a cigar."
Right.
And then at that point you say, try a Connecticut, try a
Right.
mellow one or whatever. But I think that's true. It's not only just with cigars. I think it's also with bourbon. It's also with whiskey. Like I think that gender
Right.
it's cutting across gender lines and probably socioeconomic lines too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we have, for example, in the States, we have a lot of, like, I see it in your future possibly where you maybe are now providing the cigars in the clubs you're talking about. Where I can see in the future where you might actually be having your own cigar lounges.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. That's
You have your own plantation, all of a sudden you have like almost the equivalent of what they have in a winery, where you have like a tasting room.
Right.
You have a membership to cigar lounge.
Yes.
You have private lockers, like all of the stuff that's already proven elsewhere.
That's that's something that's actually on the
Part of the
table.
plan.
Yeah, to try, because I mean, like now Harare doesn't have a cigar lounge, so it's something that we really need to look into.
So you have to do it where when they walk in, it sounds like the Rainforest Cafe,
Right.
where the thunder is happening when you walk into the store.
And
And I happen to know an interior designer that could probably help design the lounge. So that, you know, is not just designing it, but is also a practitioner, as they say. You know, I'm not only the president of the company, but I'm also a client. So I think that's it's really fascinating. I mean, it's a lot of opportunity. It's not an unproven concept.
Right.
It's just it's not proven here. And then you're also providing an exotic product from an exotic location,
Right.
with an exotic story
Exactly.
that actually has a lot of legs. How important is being patient in the process?
Patience. You know, you need the patience of Job. If I were to refer to the biblical text.
We were missing the biblical
Yes.
element in the interview, so let's bring it in here.
You definitely need the patience of Job, because it's not easy. I mean,
the product itself requires patience because it's a grown product.
Exactly.
And a fermented product.
Yes.
And an aging product.
Yes. So success is not overnight. I mean, there are people who think that you're making cigars and cigars sell for so much. Oh, you must be a millionaire.
That's all they can see.
That's all they can see. They see the dollar signs.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's a game which will you are in there for the long haul. I mean, if you look at established brands like Cohiba, Davidoff, Patagas, those are brands that have been there for
centuries,
for centuries. Yeah. So it really calls for a lot of patience.
Well, and a lot of them face the realities of the change in the embargo with Cuba, and had to replant somewhere else, and they had to reestablish somewhere else, and they had to face the negativity of, oh, wait a minute, it's not Cuban. Right?
Yeah.
You still hear that. Oh, it's not Cuban.
Oh yeah. No. Lots of that. Is it Cuban? You guys make cigars? Are these Cuban? No, they are Zimbabwean cigars. Oh, Zimbabwean cigars.
Oh, Zimbabwean cigars.
Yeah. But until they sample and smoke the cigar and think, wow.
But I think if you expand your mind and your palate,
right,
you find that actually there are some really good cigars that don't have that associated reference that you have stuck in your head. It's like, oh, it's only French wine. No,
right.
California wine. There's good South African wine. You know, there's some people that can't even drink wine that's not from South Africa.
Exactly.
To the tannins.
Yeah.
And yet they can drink South African wine.
Right.
So, okay, and only because I'm going to make her come over.
Okay.
Right? It takes more than you to do it. And you touched on it a little bit with your wife, basically providing the bit of that net, safety net while you're in startup, right? So how important is it to have that support behind you when you're doing something like this?
It is amazing, and that's really something that keeps you going.
Yeah.
Because there are times when you feel like, oh no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a family show, but she'll tell you to get off your
butt,
go and do it. Yeah. Go and do it. It's working. It's going to work. Yeah. So you need that
support is very.
You need that support. Very important. Yeah.
Shall we bring her on? She didn't want to come on.
Sure. Yeah, she can come in.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Good.
The woman behind the man. So how was it for you while he was going through this? Like, was it stressful? Was it?
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's not easy.
Yeah.
Particularly because there was no template to follow.
Yeah.
Everything was just coming from,
Yeah.
what he probably read, what he know, what somebody has told him and all that. So it was not easy. And there were times that he wanted to give up.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I come in.
Yeah.
Like, you can't give up. We've been at this for a while now, so you can't afford to give up.
Well, I think that is really critical, and I think it's not mentioned enough. That how important it is to have that support system, internal, because it's not only you that's basically taking the risk and the chances.
Right.
You're taking the risk and the chances too.
Precisely.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you guys all taking the time. Guys, I really thank you for bringing the story and the smoke, right, to the Raad Life, to the episode. I'm really happy I took the time to do this. I'm enjoying the cigar. I'm sure there will be more than one that I will enjoy for a day.
Right.
And for the listeners who want more, we'll drop the official site, the social handles in the show for this, and there will be a special promo that will happen. We discussed this, and look out for that on the new, soon-to-be-released Raad Life media site. And if you enjoyed this conversation, share it with a friend, leave a rating on the YouTube channel, and tag us with your first moment of smoking the cigars. Smoke that thunders. Until next time, keep reinventing one honest step at a time. Thank you, guys.
Raad, we do appreciate you taking time. I know you were flying from Victoria Falls to Johannesburg.
It was my pleasure.
Back to the States. But I really appreciate you changing your schedule to be with us here today. And we really, really look forward to the continued relationship.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And I will tell you, for me, because I do interiors and I do hospitality and I do wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taught for years, I have said to people, wellness is very individual.
Precisely.
So, and there is no one size fits all.
Right.
And a lot of people say we are one-on-one customer service, but really, when you're reading a script for 300 people or 1,000 people, that's not one-on-one customer service.
True.
You have to take the time.
Yes.
And basically customize. And if your regiment of wellness, like my regiment of wellness, I'm working out twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
I have an infrared sauna at home. I use it for recovery. I do that wellness aspect. I'm at my age. I'm also very cognizant of my health.
Mm-hmm.
But my regimen of wellness includes a nice Scotch or bourbon and a cigar. And if your regimen of wellness is a cigar and bourbon, or a cigar and a nice cup of coffee with good company, then that's your regimen of wellness. So it's on your terms, and keep reinventing, like I said, one step at a time, one cigar at a time. It's been my pleasure to sit here and relax after 2 weeks of safari with you guys.
Thank you.
The perfect ending, the perfect trip to Africa.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.